All About Writing with Ben and Sara.
Welcome to All About Writing, the podcast that covers everything about the world of writing from the inside out. This is episode 63, part 10 on our series on writing life. I'm Sara, here with my co-host Ben, who is an award-winning best-selling author and ghostwriter, editor, and publisher.
And I'm Ben, here with my co-host Sara, who is an award-winning best-selling author, screenwriter, editor, and TED Talk presenter. And today we're talking about the critique partner. What's that, you may be asking? Well, we're honored today to be joined by two amazing authors, Jill Evans and Lauren McGuire. They're each other's critique partner, so they're going to help us unpack this topic. But first, introductions. Jill, Lauren, thank you so much for joining us here today. Please tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Go ahead, Lauren. So my name is Lauren McGuire. I live here in the South, in the American South, and I have been writing since 2016. And recently had my first publication in the Writers of the Future anthology, which is, thank you. Yeah, it's an international contest, and they take 12 writers a year. They take us out to California for a masterclass and a gala, and then publish our book in the spring. So my story, Karma Birds, it was a pretty amazing experience. My story, Karma Birds, came out this year. It's science fiction and fantasy. So and that's what I write. I write science fiction and fantasy. The current piece that I'm working on right now is a science fiction piece that we'll talk about, I'm sure.
Yes.
As we talk about this.
Yeah, and Jill. I'm Jill Evans. I also live in the South. We're in the Atlanta area. I am a former software engineer, so I come to it from a kind of an analytical background, but I love the creative part too. I was a 2-term president of the Atlanta Writers Club. Before that, I was the vice president of programming for them as well. So I served the Atlanta Writers Club, and it was an amazing experience to be a part of that community of writers. My term is up now, so I'm in emerita, which is great to be able to focus on the writing. I write historical fiction as well as contemporary short stories. And right now I'm just finishing up second draft of a contemporary romance. So I'm doing a little bit of everything.
Fabulous. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, if I can put in a little plug for the Atlanta Writers Club, Jill, of course, we've worked together in the past. I used to do webinars for the club. Awesome bunch of people. So that's fabulous. Thank you for running such a great club.
We have a great community here in the Atlanta area. So if anybody is actually regionally as well. So if anybody is interested in writing and is listening in the South, please check out the Atlanta Writers Club. And their conference is amazing. Their Atlanta Writers Club conference is great as well. Workshops online and in person. So yeah, it's great. It's great.
That is so cool. I am really excited about this topic, and I love that you guys are together, because then we'll be able to get your vibe in the same room, which I think is so important, at least from the outside, when you're thinking about a critique partner. So I'm really excited about this topic because I've never had a critique partner. So I too, I almost don't know which questions to ask first. Like, how do you find a critique partner? Maybe is maybe the best way to dive in.
Let's start with that one.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people come to it and they really want to find somebody who can take a look at their writing for a lot of different reasons. And I'm sure we'll get into that, what people want to get out of it. But as far as finding critique partners, I think that Lauren and I don't want to speak for her, but I know for me, I wanted to work with somebody that I got to know organically. I've been a part of critiques where you go in and you just join a group to see how it's going to work out, and you don't, know if you're going to vibe with somebody or not. So I think that it works really well when you meet someone organically and you sort of get their work. Atlanta Writers Club has sponsored critique groups. And I think that it's important for people to get in there and figure out, do they want somebody specifically for their genre? Do they want somebody who can critique the length of work that they're doing, or their style, or their voice? or does it matter that they connect with the person? So I think that sometimes what I always say to people, because we used to really promote critique groups in the club. I would talk about that literally every month, and from the stage I would say the best way to get instant feedback on your writing is through the critique groups. And I would say I give you full permission to quit a critique group if it's not working out for you, and move on and try something else that will work for you. So yeah, I think that it's different for every person. Different for every person. What about you?
Yeah, so Jill and I met through the Atlanta Writing Club, and then we ended up having coffee together because we lived kind of close to each other. And then our relationship developed very organically, like she was saying, and it started as a friendship, and then we started exchanging work, but short pieces. I think it was really short stories at the beginning, things that we were kind of thinking about, and then it was through sharing short stories and like feeling each other out that we were able to build some trust. And I think that then she read a book for me, I read a book for her, sort of like, here's a book, like read the whole thing. And then, and it was, we've always been sort of really honest with each other, but really gentle with each other. So you're taking somebody's really personal work and you're trying to give critique. And there's a little bit of, it's a delicate process.
Yeah, it's vulnerability.
It's a vulnerability.
Yeah.
And to be able to give that honest critique, but also be kind and be compassionate when you're giving that honest critique, that was really important to establish our relationship. And now, so now we've been together several years. We meet weekly. We have
walked 4 years.
Yeah. It's wild.
Mm-hmm.
We have walked through. So I'll just speak for the novel that we're both kind of in the same place in our novels, like from inception to like several drafts in. We are working on these novels together, and we meet weekly. We share work. And man, we push each other so hard. And now that we've built all that trust, we don't have to be so delicate. Yeah. We can like take the gloves off a little bit and sort of knock each other around and really push, because we know what each of us is capable of. Mm-hmm. And if we're seeing that you haven't quite nailed it, we're not afraid to push each other.
Yeah, and I think you've hit on a couple of great points there, and one of them is definitely the vulnerability, because I know a lot of like aspiring authors who are just sort of getting started, they haven't really shown their work to anybody yet. It can be kind of scary to actually hand over your work. Yeah, and you talked about like groups, so you can sort of join a group that already exists, but that's a little different from having a one-on-one partner.
Very different.
We've had that experience together. So,
would you recommend that an author sort of start out with a group just to kind of feel it out, or dive right in?
Depends on a person's personality.
Yeah.
And what they're looking for.
Yeah. And also what they're willing to, how they're willing to work with the writing. So like a lot of groups have a very strict structure. Like we want 5 pages from you a week, or a chapter every 2 weeks or whatever. And so it's a very structured process. Ours is not. And so I think that works better for the both of us to be able to do that. And then as far as a new writer coming in, you just have to be very self-aware of what your because you have to be willing to step back from your work and look at it as a piece of work, not you anymore, and put yourself in the position of the reader and make yourself vulnerable to a reader. So that's very difficult. And it's sometimes a process of getting to where you figure out what works for you. Does it work well to be in a group and to have that sort of group camaraderie and support? Because I know like George Weinstein, he has a group that he's been with for years and years and years, and they are a great small community within a big community, and they help each other with their publishing and with their critique and everything when it comes to their writing. So I think it just depends on each person. Yeah.
I do think there's, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I would also definitely say what you're going to say, Lauren, but when you say critique, I would love for you to dive into what exactly that means. Like, is that structure? Is that development? Is that character arcs? Is it everything? Is it you missed a period? What exactly is what does a critique look like? What kind of feedback do you expect from these
For
experiences?
the two of us, it's everything. For the two of us, it's everything. But for if somebody just coming in, they need to have a really clear understanding of what they're looking for, what kind of feedback they want. Do they want to take a chapter to someone and basically get it proofread? Or do they want like that? Or do they want to take a book idea and get book idea feedback or structural feedback, developmental editing? And sometimes, like I said, it's a process of figuring out, oh, I didn't mean for you to do a copy edit. I meant for you to do like character development. So that's, a process that everybody has to go through to figure out what they want out of it.
Yeah. I think the aspect of knowing what you're looking for out of your group is very important. And that can, for someone who's new to writing, it can be hard to know what you're looking for, because I've definitely been guilty of this, saying like, well, just give me any feedback. When a lot of times, especially if I'm writing a short story, I joke, and Jill like knows this, like all of my short stories start out like they read like fever dreams. Do you know what I'm saying? Like there's like an idea in there somewhere, but there's not a lot of cohesion, and there's like characters, but they're sketches of characters.
It's ideas on the page.
It's ideas on the page. And she knows me well enough at that point, if I hand her something that's that raw and I say, okay, what I need from you is character, plot, and setting. Let's talk about those three things this first pass.
Yeah.
And then we get that nailed down. Like, who is this character? What is their motivation? What is the plot? What am I trying to say? What is the setting? A lot of times it's really character and plot for me. And then when we go through these passes, it's like painting, doing a painting. Like you've sketched out the big idea, then you layer on the paint, and then you get into the fine detail. I think that the reason Jill and I work well together is because we both have sort of that patient eye, and we understand where the other one is in the process and how to meet them there at that time.
Yeah.
I think if one of the things that we have both been challenged by, we've kind of been together in and out of a group setting, and
different groups
and one group at the same time. And the challenge is what we do on a weekly basis is different than what that group did on a monthly basis, and the kind of feedback that group was doing. And for where specifically, and I'll only speak for me, where I was in my writing process, when we tried to meet with this group, I was like coming up with an idea. I had the broadest strokes of an idea, and I was trying to it was a skeleton that I was trying to put meat on. And they were asking me all the questions that I didn't have answers to yet.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't gotten that far in the process. But I also didn't know that I hadn't gotten far enough in the process. And it was this huge learning curve for me to understand, like, oh, as a writer, this is my process. And I'm trying to bring something. And I got this this gut feeling kind of early on. I'm like, this isn't working for me. And I think I know why. The group ended up dissolving on its own, but it was a really great thing to learn about myself as a writer.
Yeah. And I'm thinking about some of the things that a new author might come in, like they don't even know what they don't know.
Yes.
So for any of our listeners who are wondering, having been an editor, I can say some of the things that I would look for, which I think a critique partner would also do. Like how's my structure? Do I have a good story here? Do I have a tight story? Like that's one thing you want to know. Or do my characters like make sense? Are they flat, or are they rich, or is there a character arc? I want feedback on my characters. Or the setting, like, okay, did my world make sense? Does it come to life? Especially like Lauren sci-fi and fantasy, which I also write. So I'm with you, sister. It can be hard to make it all make sense when you're making everything up.
Amazing at writing worlds. She really is.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so these are different things like structure or plot, story, character and character development, setting, and also style. Like how is my writing, how does it read? Like, am I using lots of the same word over and over again, or am I using common phrases that are just overdone? My paragraph's good. That's another thing to look at too, is just how is my style? How is my craft? Yeah.
Yeah. I think that one of the things that that is a part of our strength working with each other that almost trumps everything else is that we get each other's voice.
Yes.
Mhm.
And so if you go into a critique group or a critique partnership and you don't get the other person's voice, it just doesn't resonate with you. No matter if you're writing in the same genre, because we write in different genres, no matter whether you write in the same genre, same length, same anything, it just won't matter. So I think that one of the things that really works for us is that we get each other's voice.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
definitely been on the other side of critiques where there's so much editing that goes into it that it stops being my voice and starts being the other writer's voice.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think that one of the things that's so important in critique is not to rewrite for the person.
Yes.
It's to say, I came across this and it was a bump for me as a reader. I'm not going to tell you how to fix it, but I'm just going to tell you that there was something there that didn't work. Here's some things that you might want to consider. They're the writer, so they have the responsibility to go fix it in their voice and how they would approach the story. So yeah, that's difficult for a lot of people in critique groups to do because they want to
fix it.
They want to fix it because that's our nature is to want to fix things. Yeah.
We had one of the, can I share that? I was thinking about that coming up. Okay. So Jill's writing this contemporary romance, 2.2 POVs. Her strength is character and dialogue. It's just so good. And there's this one scene where one of her characters comes in, he's very angry and he scares another character. And for the anger wasn't quite working. Like, I knew what she was trying to do, and I know he was angry, and I know why, and I know how the other character is supposed to respond and needs to respond, but we just hadn't gotten there. And I had pushed back on the scene in a previous draft. Yeah. And she got frustrated because then I came back and basically said the opposite thing.
The exact opposite.
Today. And I was like, okay.
Time out.
So we were like, all right, so here's what's not working.
Yeah.
I don't know how to tell you to fix it.
Yeah.
That's not my job. My job is to tell you this is where I'm getting tripped up. And I think this is what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
This is what I'm hearing. What do you want the scene to look like?
Yeah.
And that we had a very rich conversation around her character's motivation and the setting and who's in the room and where are they and what needs to happen in the emotional beats. And it was her working out how she wants to tell that story and me just acting as a mirror.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that analogy of you as the critique partner being the mirror, where you can go, it's almost like that mediation where it's like, what I hear you're saying is
Yes, exactly.
what you meant. And so I think that is what makes it sounds like what having a critique partner is different than having an editor, right? Because an editor is there to be clinical, whereas it sounds like where you guys are, it is much more a totally immersive creative process, especially if you have somebody that gets you and understands how to work with your voice, which is important.
Yeah. Because we do give each other permission to come and say, so I have a whisper of a dream, of a thought, of an idea of a story. This is what I'm thinking. And then we just go from there all the way down to like, you have an extra space here. I don't think you need that comma.
Yeah. So all those things are on the table.
All
but you know what? We really don't get caught up in the grammar.
We don't get caught up in the copy editing. No. If we see something, we just. Yeah.
But I do, guys, Sarah, I love what you just said there. A critique partner is not an editor.
No.
They're a mirror.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you can, obviously we're like professional people, like we know where commas ought to go for the most part. So we can help each other there, but there is that's where I think the magic is in the sauce, is being a mirror.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. I was thinking about that when we compare this to editors, because I mean, to a degree, an editor is the same. I mean, having been an editor myself, I know that it's not my job to rewrite the book. It's to help the author's voice come out more clearly. But that said, being an editor, I will make some direct changes to I would, change this sentence to this, do that. And I can see how not it like this whole discussion is not just about me, receiving feedback from my critique partner, but also how do I be a critique partner? And you're absolutely right, because we're all creatives. So of course we want to get in there and let me just rewrite this for you, right? And that's the key. That's the difference is as critique partners, you're both still authors. And so there's a certain level of sort of equality and respect, I think, that would have to make it their
For
work.
sure.
Whereas an author and editor, they do have a different relationship, and the
There's a
editor
different
can get in there and
paradigm.
make changes. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing
Yeah.
too with us is that not only do we write in different genres, we have very different writing processes.
Mhm.
So my process is to do a lot of work in my head and then do a lot of outlining, and then do the writing. And so by the time something gets to the page, I'm at a different way of doing things. And Lauren is an amazing thinking on paper person. She fills up journals with beautiful illustrations and mind maps. And I'm like, what are you doing? I don't
Seems
even
like such a waste of
understand.
time.
No, not at all. It's just a completely different way of doing things. And I completely respect how she does that. And it's amazing to me. And I don't get it, but I respect it immensely. So it's yeah, we are totally different people that way. But yeah, you could come across somebody who would want to mold that process into something that the way that they
Yeah.
do it. And we have come to a point where we're like, no, I know how you work. I see what you're doing there. I see what you're doing there. And she thinks on paper for sure. She can
Yeah.
you can trash more words.
Oh God,
She can trash
I
some
will
more.
throw 10,000 words away like that. They're just words.
They're
They're
just-
just more.
Like, no.
Yeah.
No.
That's a awesome trait.
It is.
I
It's
love being
amazing.
able to, yeah, it's powerful weirdly in a weird way. Like
It is powerful not to be owned by it. Like
Yeah.
the gold is in my head. It's not on the paper.
Yeah.
Oh, and that is a challenge for a lot of authors, is,
Oh,
giving
it
up the
is.
precious prose that they've put down. They work so hard on it. They love
No,
it.
quit talking to me, Ben. Quit talking to me. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
so it sounds.
I think it's fascinating that you two. Oh, sorry. Go
no,
ahead,
I
Sarah.
was gonna say though, it sounds almost like it might be in your vein what you were gonna say. It's fascinating that they work together so well. I mean, I feel like in a way, having a successful critique partner also requires you to put time into each other. Like I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah.
in a group setting, it's a little bit less personal just because you have all of those people and so much more to get through. But I would assume, like you were saying, that George, he has this big group that it's a group. But it sounds like they've been together a long time. And so it's almost like you can't just expect to like go up on social media, ask for a critique partner, get one, and I have an amazing experience. And you have to put the work into the relationship as well as the work on the page, right?
And I think that you have to develop it over time.
Yeah.
And it can happen faster for some people than others. But it's a commitment. So at first, if you think of it as a time commitment, because it's transactional at the very beginning, it's transactional. You are getting something from someone else and you are giving them something. But over time, it becomes a relationship and a commitment to the other person's work and to their ideas and to how they work and to their writing. So I think that you just have to give that time to develop in the way that it will develop. Yeah.
And if you're lucky, you get a dear friend out of it.
Yes, you do.
So it's so neat too that because you write in different genres. Like I hope you like each other's genres. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because also we both read widely.
Yes.
Mhm.
I think that helps for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I will say Jill has definitely Jill has an immaculate taste in books. She has brought me stuff that I wouldn't never have read and have enjoyed thoroughly. So she's got just a really, really great taste in books, but she reads widely and I think she understands the beats that happen in science fiction and fantasy, even if she doesn't read a lot of it, she understands the expectations, and she understands the expectations in the genres she writes in and is able to articulate them to me so that even if I'm not as well read,
You are.
and
Don't
I
say that.
Yeah, I know, but like you can say, here's what the expectation is and here's what I'm trying to do with it.
Yeah.
So she can articulate that.
So on that note, you've had experience with lots of different critique groups and you've seen different people, is it actually a problem if critique partners write in the same genre? Because then like, that's awesome. I'm gonna steal that from my own writing. Like, are they too?
Yeah.
It's a chair space. I love that.
Steal it. Oh,
Well, I think that that depends on personalities in any kind of genre.
I'm just
Like,
trying to
you
imagine
could-
someone saying, "Yeah, no, that's no good. Cut that idea. It's no good. Oh, that's gold. That's gold."
That's my
And you-
level. Yeah, no, I think the danger. So my Writers of the Future cohort, there's 12 of us, and some of us have read for each other, and that's really like the first. And I have another person that I've shared a lot of work with, and she writes more like fantasy, not science fiction. I think the danger still gets into like either not getting enough feedback or getting too much. Like not enough is, this looks great. I love it.
Yeah, you are awesome.
You are awesome.
You are the most amazing writer ever.
Or let me rewrite this the way I think it should be written.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's really just like about finding, like, I think it's kind of like that fit, that finding a person that is, and knowing what you want and asking for it very specifically.
Yes.
I have one friend that reads for me, and if I ask her, I need XYZ and I want to get on the phone and talk to you about it,
Yeah.
that works beautifully.
Yeah.
If I ask her to give me written feedback, I get overwhelmed and I shut down.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's great.
this is all really
It's a
good.
fascinating thing. I
Yeah.
would certainly recommend authors at any stage in their career to consider having a critique partner.
Oh, for
It's
sure.
it's great to have that sort of low-level informal feedback from someone who knows what they're doing because they're a writer themselves.
Yeah.
And like you said, it can also lead to great friendships. And
Absolutely.
this can be a very lonely profession we have as writers. So
And a lot of people who would come to the Atlanta Writers Club fresh from, no experience being in any kind of writing community, they would come and they would be a little bit overwhelmed by walking into a room with 150 people and not seeing anybody necessarily that they could connect with. So at the very beginning of the meeting, we have these genre tables where people can kind of connect in smaller groups. And so we would tell them that you really want to create a community within a community. So that was why we were really, really encouraging critique partners and critique groups, because if and we would also say it's not just possible in person, it is possible online that you can connect with people. Yeah. And so if you're sitting in the middle of nowhere, you can find somebody who, it just takes a commitment and it just takes time. And we are evidence of this. It's sitting in 3 different locations. And so it's absolutely possible. I have a critique person that I worked with very closely, and she is now in North Carolina. Even before video calls, she would do things like read for me, because I would send her a Word document. She would make notes. She would take a picture of it on her phone, send it to me, and then we would have a phone call. There is a way to do it. If you want it bad enough, there is a way.
Yeah.
So you just have to have that determination, and also the giving yourself permission to, exit, enter.
Right. But I mean, yeah. So I think you make a really important point in talking about that person, because what you said there was your relationship has looked different and
Over
has
time.
shifted over time.
It did, yeah.
And the way you guys shared work is different than the way we share work.
Yes.
And the way I share work with some other readers and partners is that goal in that time is different than the goal that we have in our time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that the other thing too is like everybody should be really open yourself up to different ways.
Yes.
written feedback, oral feedback, like reading your work out, like sitting with people and reading your work out loud. That is so valuable, and getting that instant feedback as if you're in an acting workshop. Or, like
vulnerable.
Yeah, no joke. So like try different things and see what works for you, and try all of them.
Yeah.
And you'll get different experiences out of it. And all of them are valuable. Even the ones that fail miserably are valuable.
You learn something.
You learn something from them.
You learn something about what's not going to work for you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is awesome too, because I think we talk so much on this podcast, Ben and I, about how being an author is a lonely thing. I mean, yes, you have your editors and your publishing contacts and all of that stuff, but the creative process is by and large very isolating. And this kind of is blowing the lid off of that and being like, it doesn't have to be at all. It can be incredibly interactive every week, constant, feedback, constant discussion about your work, which is, really nourishing for writers, and then you are getting that feedback in real time too. So you're not waiting until you've poured your blood onto these pages and then you finally come and someone's, zipping through with a pen. It feels probably less invasive too to work this way. So I just think it's great for people to know that there's this option, because it's not, it's the opposite of what we kind of talk about at length as talking about writing.
And I think that one of the things we haven't mentioned yet, and I might be preempting a question, but we haven't talked really about accountability. So one of the things that I think is really important about having a critique partner is somebody who says, where are my pages from you?
Yes.
Like, I was expecting a chapter.
Where's my chapter?
Where's my chapter?
I need to know what happened.
Yeah. So holding each other accountable for work is so important, because it can be lonely and it can be disheartening when you are sitting there in your office or your desk or your bed or your sofa or wherever you've got your laptop, and you're just kind of typing away, and then it's like it's going into the computer and you feel like it's going nowhere. But if you have that accountability partner, critique partner, and they're saying, where are my words? I'm ready to read. And I want to see what happens next in the story, or where are you going with this story? And you've gotten them excited about it. And then, because once you make yourself vulnerable, you're opening yourself up to be accountable for the work. And I think that is so valuable and fun. That's a fun part of it, if you open yourself up to it.
One of the things that I was thinking about when you were just talking, Sarah, is it's important to have, I think, the same goals as your closest critique. I mean, like, I was in my early, when I was writing, when I first started, I went into the sweet little writing group in my little town. I live in a town that's about as big as a minute. Okay. And so our library is smaller than some like McDonald's. It's so small. And I went to the library and met this group, and I was so terrified, and they were so kind to me. And it was a great group to start with. But I realized very quickly that their goals were different than my goals. They were a lot of retired folks. They were just writing in their retirement for fun,
or writing a family
memoir. But I had goals for a career. And so when your critique partners have those same goals and that same mindset, I think that helps a lot.
Yeah. Because
even today, the conversation, we meet on Wednesdays. So today's a Wednesday, and we met for lunch and went over. We're both sort of oddly at this very similar places in our novels where we can see sort of the wrap up for the novel. And so the question, I was like, so what's next? Like, what are you going to work on? And what am I going to work on? Because that's what's next. So we keep each other accountable.
Yes.
But we have the same goals.
Yes. And like within those goals, it's querying time, it's synopsis time,
yes.
It's all those terrible, awful things that you have to do.
Yeah. Let me just have a drink there and think about that.
Yeah. Yes. Cheers. Cheers. We're in trenches.
Yeah.
I can see accountability, but also inspiration, really can help each other.
So on that note, I'm going to tell another story, if I can. So we're reading like these sets of chapters for each other right now. And I hand her, I think it was last week, I hand you a set of chapters
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, she reads it and I'm like, there's a plot hole in chapter 27. And she's like, your gut is right on that. You should follow that gut. And then I went home and I went on a run about it. And I thought about this plot hole.
Literally
for
went
like 2
on
days.
and on about it.
I had a whole like 2-page spread in a notebook where I'm like, this
Again,
plot hole.
with the thinking
And
on
I
paper.
finally figured it out. And then I'm sitting in lunch and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
here's how I think I fixed the plot hole. And it was not quite right, but
We talked through it.
she got the vision for it
Yeah.
and we tweaked it together and got the perfect thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be golden. I'm so excited.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so cool. You guys are
Yeah.
making me want a critique partner now.
You do.
You need a Jill in your life, Sarah.
You do.
I know.
You need a Lauren in your life. Yeah, absolutely.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's been wonderful talking to you, ladies. Thanks so much for coming on board.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so
Great.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an honor to be here with you guys.
If anyone would like to find you, is there anywhere online people can find you?
Yes, you can find me. So I am a reluctant social media participant, but I am at McGuire Storied on Instagram.
Okay.
And I have a Substack. So you can find me under Lauren McGuire Storied on Substack.
And we'll post these links
Perfect.
on all of for both of you.
Okay. Yeah.
With the podcast, the YouTube, everywhere. So when people they hear it, but then they can go and they can click directly through. So
Yep, and I'm at jillevans.com. Easy. And my Instagram is linked off of the website as well. So yeah, easy. jillevans.com.
awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thank you again so much, both of you for being here with us again. I'm so excited to have met you. But I think that's our show for today.
Perfect.
And
Yeah,
That was fun.
That was
good. We're gonna remind our listeners not to forget to subscribe so they don't miss chats like this and concepts like critique partners, and remind everybody who's listening to leave a review because that helps us. And they can find Ben at bennettrcoles.com as well as on Facebook and Instagram.
And you can catch up with Sarah at sarahdahlman.com and on Instagram. Thanks for joining us today. Please reach out if there are any topics you'd like us to cover, and we'll see you again when we next chat all about writing.
This has been All About Writing with Ben and Sara.